fine, bro. It's okay. I'm patient.
You doing live? All right. What's going on?
What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all?
Y'all hear some background noise. We about to flow. You about to drop some lyrics?
I ain't about to drop no lyrics. We can groove though, if that's what you're trying to do.
This is taking way too long to groove. I mean, really. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? Wait a minute. Some people be hating on this song, but I like it because you know what? Sometimes that's how we act. Uh-oh. Really, boo?
What? What's what?
You guarantee me like, yeah, but we just be...
Yeah. Come on, I'm gonna need you to get a hip. I'm gonna need you to get a hip and be patient and
wait a minute, y'all hear that? Hey, I see you, Lorraine.
Y'all come on in the chat. Y'all come on in the on the Facebook Live. Please share. Facebook Live. You want me there?
Yes.
I want you too.
Yes. All right, y'all. We're gonna be having a good time this evening.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Please share. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up?
Now, I just want to say this. I don't know anybody. Wait a minute. I want you. Yes. Okay, wait a minute. Really good?
What you mean, what?
This is Ayize's pick. What? I just want y'all to know this is his song. This is his pick. So look, I want to say this. I don't even know. I don't know who is not affected by beef. This is about if you got some beef, if you've had beef. Hey, sometimes we act a little drunk. Sometimes we act a little cray-cray. We don't even know. We got issues. You know what I mean? Hold up, what she say? Oh.
We be all night. We be all night.
We be all night. Yeah. We want to give you 7 ways you sabotage your relationship. And you don't even know. Some of y'all know and y'all still doing it.
Hey, let us know. Let us know y'all can hear us. Can y'all hear us okay?
Hey, Earth Sky, I see you. Love you too, sis. Thank you for that love. Okay. All right, we getting ready to start, y'all. Some of y'all, go ahead and put right in the chat box. Type up and let us know.
Let us know where you're watching from.
Let us know where you are watching from. And if you got a particular issue you beefing about right now, and you need a little bit of insight, we pay attention to the comments. Let us know what it is. Because we want to know if you on this list we about to go over. Are you on the list? Are you sabotaging your relationship? You know what? You're going to find out tonight. You're going to find out.
I see we got Alaska in the house.
All right, Alaska. Hey, Talisha. I see you, sis. How are you? All right. And I see Marnell. Marnell, she gave us a shout out early in the week. I appreciate it, sis. And I'm so happy that you joined us this evening. All right, we're going to turn the music down.
Hold on. Hold fast for a second.
I'm not really feeling this song all like that.
I don't know why you're
How many of y'all like this song?
You can do big things for that song.
Middle River, Maryland. All right, LaToya, representing Middle River. All right, last time. Here we go. I'm doing this for my baby because it's his song. All right. Here we go.
You can't cut it down yet.
Really? Ain't y'all ready to get started? Wait a minute.
If I do say so myself. If I do say so myself. If I do say so myself.
Okay. All right.
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get started.
So, here we go, y'all. We are glad that you have joined and connected with us this evening. We're going to get real serious real quick because beefing, arguing, disconnect, distance, having attitudes, holding on to stuff, having grudges. You know, some of y'all are just professionals. What's up, Sheila from Wisconsin? Some of y'all are professionals at holding a grudge, okay? Some of y'all just don't even know how to move forward. You don't even know how to move forward when you want to move forward. And I just have to say, what's going on in Augusta, Georgia? I just have to say this, St. Louis, Courtney, I see you. My sister right there, Atrelia from the Art of Overcoming. She's part of our sister group from the ATL. Okay, I'm all over the place. Fredericksburg, West Palm Beach. Oh, I want to be where you are, Sharita. You in West Palm Beach. And she said she watches us all the time on YouTube. So I'm glad you came over and found us on Facebook. But so many of us, y'all, have so many issues when it comes to beefing.
Yeah.
Okay. And we don't even know how to get out of it. We get stuck in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be a really stuck person because I can be pretty passionate, pretty upset. And I can hold on to stuff. And
hold on to it forever.
Yeah. No,
Forever. Yes.
That's what he used to say to me. Like, for real, boo, you still mad?
Let that thing go.
Like, come on, come over here with me. I'm like, don't touch me. Yeah. How many of y'all know about that? Don't touch me. I'm still mad. And just because I gave you some dinner and I rubbed your feet. No, I ain't doing that. If I'm mad, I ain't even rubbing your feet. So we ain't gonna say that. That's not happening.
You ain't gonna clip my toenails?
No. I'm not clipping your toenails on a good day. That's ill. But straight up, just because, we still have to connect around the kids and we still have to do certain things. Hey, Darlene, my sister Darlene, hey. That doesn't mean that I don't still have an issue. And I know so many women definitely connect with me on that. They like, yo, I know y'all feel me on that. These our brothers out here, they just straight up like, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
We're over it, and we're not over it. And so
it's that short memory phenomenon.
It's that short memory. Yeah, you have a short memory and you over it. And I'm like, dude, come back to the table because we got to talk about this. But here's the thing: we can get through difficult issues productively. There are ways to do this so that you do it not only productively, but that you do it and you actually move beyond the issue. You don't stay stuck in the issue. And I want to let y'all know this in terms of beefing. Let me just make sure you all understand this. About 77%. All right, 77% of the issues that couples experience, this has been researched, and this is what they found. 77% of the issues that couples experience don't get resolved. They don't get resolved because there is something about merging your life with another person, and that person is constantly evolving and growing, regressing, you know what I'm saying, slipping, falling, and moving forward, and you are too. And so you have to learn the art of getting with one another. You have to learn how to manage the conflict and the beef because successful couples are not the couples who don't have conflict. We stay having appropriate levels of beef.
Stay? Well, I mean, you would say stay. I don't stay. Oh, I'm gonna have to challenge you on that one. Really, Joe? Really? Really?
So when I say
you gotta give me the hum. You gotta give me the pruning on that one.
Let me just say this. When I say stay having, I'm saying like we bump up into each other. We have definitely developed this is one thing I can speak confidently about. We've developed a real good way of knowing how to navigate our issues.
Yeah.
So I can definitely say that. But we are bumping up into each other pretty often because we're very different in our personality types. So when I'm ready to go, he ready to chill. When I'm ready to lean forward, he like lean back. I'm ready to make a decision, he like hold up, right? And so there are gifts and benefits to both ways of being, and we often bump into each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot. But we don't even let them escalate to a straight up beef, because we've learned how to manage some things. So if y'all are ready to get in this, then go ahead and let us know. Give us some likes, give us some love. Let us know likes,
please share.
That you are with us.
Please share, tag your partner, tag your girlfriend, tag your man. Let them know like we're going to be dropping some serious gems this evening.
So they can see if they sabotaging relationships all up and through here. So here's where we are, guys. We're going to get right on into this.
But hold up, before we get right into it.
What?
I just want to say this, that the reality is that, when it comes to being in a relationship, it's easy for us to overlook the fact that, relationships are definitely hard, but we all come with a certain level of baggage that actually leads us to a space where we might be engaging in beef unknowingly. We might be engaging or setting ourselves up for sabotaging a relationship without necessarily knowing that we're actually creating a dynamic that we really don't want.
A lot of times we don't.
Yeah.
How many times do we tell couples when we meet with them, like, you know what you're asking for? You actually are setting yourself up to not get it. Like real talk. You actually are creating more of what you don't want by the way that you are handling it. And they be like, how so?
Yeah.
Tell me some more about that. But that actually happens a lot. So you're right about that. Okay. So here it is, y'all. We're going to get into these 7 ways you sabotage in your relationship, possibly. If you don't find yourself on this list, you need to give yourself a pat on the back when this is done, because that means you are moving forward in your relationship or the relationship you are yet to have in a very positive way. And that's good. All right. So number one, you have a pattern of arguing. Or focusing on areas of conflict for no real damn reason. For those of you taking notes, go ahead and write that all the way out. You have a pattern. It is not here and there, but it is a pattern of being in conflict, of finding a way to get in an argument for no real reason. Because, there's some people who just like to hear themselves talk. I mean, it's not for fake, y'all. It's for real. Some people like to hear themselves talk. Some people really want to express themselves. They really wanted to be a lawyer, so they figured out, I'm gonna do this in a relationship and prove my point. Right?
Yeah,
many of us.
That's not the place to do it.
It's not the time or the place. And so many of us are always finding an issue. And always finding a way to be at odds. And don't let you have a different opinion. Because I used to kind of, sort of, maybe just a little bit, be in the category of resisting your feedback.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, you still do that nowadays. Yeah. Yeah, you still do it from time to time. I mean, but the reality is that it's normal, y'all. It's normal. It's normal that I'm a normalize it. You do listen, but I'm gonna normalize the fact that resistance to another point of view is a normal part of being in a relationship. And if you always taking, if you always receiving, then the reality is that you're not being authentic in a relationship. So there should be an equal exchange. There should be a give and take. There should be some pushback. And if you ain't doing that, then there's definitely a problem in the relationship. And so, yeah, you still do it. I do it too. You may have done it more than you needed to in the past.
I did.
You managed to pipe that down, son, and I appreciate that.
So I'm just going to say this. This is not, sometimes people think this is just a woman thing. It's the lady thing. It's not just a woman thing. Sometimes it's, straight up dudes too. Right? Oftentimes. And I just want to say this. You need to ask some people around you how they experience you. How do you experience me? Because an argument doesn't always have to be that we just drop down because that's wrong and it's not always that way. It's just always having something to say. Sometimes it can be a snide remark, a snarky comment. It can just be a look, right? There's always a disconnect and you're finding a way to be argumentative. And so if you're doing that, you're sabotaging your relationship because nobody wants to build a relationship, build a life, move down a road with somebody who they can't just be comfortable with because you always got something to say. Nobody wants to be with someone that way because you don't feel like you can be yourself. You don't feel like you can be authentic. And this person always has something to say. So if that is you, and you know that you're very opinionated, perhaps, that perhaps you give your opinion when folks ain't even asking you for your opinion, then you might want to chill on that. Every thought that you have does not require an expression. You do not need to express every feeling that you have. You don't have to say. Right? So ask somebody, how do you experience me? Because oftentimes we do not know. We don't know this. People are like, yeah, you tend to you tend to, you don't let the conversation end with what I'm saying. You usually have something to say back. You're like, for real? Yeah, that's you.
But the reality though is that, if you come from a historical experience that pretty much you existed in a space of chaos, meaning that your upbringing was one that was contentious and you oftentimes had disagreements, beefs, and petty arguments in your relationships and your upbringing, then the reality is that became your norm. And so, unfortunately, what we have a tendency to do is we actually create the environment that we came from because it was our norm. And so you find yourself in a situation where you get into relationships and you look for people that create that chaos that you're used to, even though, again, like I said a moment ago, you really don't want that.
Yeah.
But again, it's your norm. And so you've learned how to flow in that space, but that's not a healthy space. So again, you want to make sure that if you're the one that's creating this, you got to find and establish some skills and actually implement some skills that get you to move beyond that place right there. But what I've often seen is that, and I'm gonna jump out here, y'all, it's oftentimes women who are the ones that are like the major complainers in relationships. It's women.
What y'all think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's women. And so it's not to say that guys don't have gripes, but it's often women who are placing the issue on the table. And guys are often saying, why in the hell she always got a goddamn issue? Why? Why do I have to live in a space where I'm always walking on eggshells and I'm worried about what's coming around the corner for me? Why? I don't understand.
Well, look, I thank you, Julia, for asking the question. She said, what if they always give you something to talk about?
Y'all always give us something to talk about, but we ain't always talking about it.
Oh.
We not.
Oh.
We not. And
well, what is that? Why? Because you know what? I don't think that anything, sometimes we get into the habit of making things good or bad.
We've heard don't sweat the small stuff. It seems like everything is major.
Okay.
Everything is made.
The thing, y'all didn't hear me disagree with him. And, you know, we will have disagreements up on here all the time.
I
And
see some people over there saying guilty.
Yeah, I mean,
the gospel.
I'm not disagreeing with him, because I know that in terms of my experience, oftentimes it is the women bringing the issue to the relationship. I got a problem here. We got a problem, and we need to keep talking about it, or we need to resolve this. And so that is what I have seen. That doesn't mean that that's everybody, right? But that's what I've seen by and large. But here's the thing: if I was like you, then that means wouldn't nothing ever be getting talked about.
That ain't true.
No. My brother,
that ain't true.
You would be keeping quiet 99% of the time, and if I was doing the same thing as you, then nothing would get talked about. The point I'm making is
only the 1% matters.
Only the 1%.
Only the
1%. It's more than 1% of stuff that needs to be dealt with. My point is this, though: there is a gift that women have in being able to get in tune with and sense issues that sometimes men are not always attuned with, because we have that emotional kind of attunement with what's happening in our environment, right? And so men sometimes take a little longer to understand. How many men have we talked to when we're coaching them in relationships, and they said, you know, I didn't know it was all like this. I didn't know we were here. I didn't think it was all of that. You know what I mean? And it's because they're not tuned in with the issue. So it's not really about it being right or wrong, good or bad, but we do have to learn how to take on each other's attributes. Men need to learn how to speak up more and put things out on the table and not try to evade and avoid the issues. Right? And women, we've got to learn how to pick and choose our battles. I can't pick every single thing. Let me tell you something. There are going to be probably 25 to 30 things that I have an issue with in my relationship on an ongoing basis. But
25 to 30 things?
I'm petty.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, 25 to 30
I have
things.
said that before.
How many dudes out there can think of 25 to 30 things that they got issues with?
Okay, maybe not 20. Maybe not 25 to 30, maybe 15 to 20. Maybe 15 to 20. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, because I'm petty, and sometimes I'm very aware. Not sometimes. I'm very aware. I'm very aware of the fact that I'm being petty. You know, that like this right here is not that serious. I feel it pretty intensely, but for real, Sister Aiyana, I talk to myself. My middle name is Key. I say Kiki. People, my family and people who know me from back in the day, they Kiki. Bring it in. You can't even do that. You can't even do that. So I just have to do that for myself. So, you know, that's a big one. If you have a pattern of arguing for no real reason, if you do not know if that's you, ask someone who can tell you about yourself and tell you the truth. And you need to figure out how to drop some things off your list, because everything ain't got to be an issue all the time. All right. So number two. I'm
not going to flow with that one. I'm going to jump over here to this one.
Okay, we'll go right ahead.
Yeah. Number two, y'all. And this is a serious one, and it's something that actually everybody wrestles with. To what degree it impacts the relationship, I'm not sure. But the number two that I'm talking about is addictions. Addictions, yes. Addictions can definitely sabotage the relationship. Everybody who's watching this live stream right now has an addiction.
What?
Everybody. Everybody is addicted to something. It could be something that's positive, or it could be something that's negative, but everybody that's watching this is addicted to something. And I'm pretty sure that if you all are willing to be honest about what you're addicted to, some people would be surprised, some people would be liberated. But the reality is that, again, you're addicted to me, baby?
I am. That's my addiction. All right, sorry, go ahead.
So
no, but this is a serious issue, y'all. I'm flirting with my husband.
Yeah, somebody said addictions are the devil.
They're real.
Yeah, they really are real. And so, you know, you got a lot of people who are out here addicted to substances, a lot of people who are out here addicted to sex, food, work, it could church. Oh, why are you going there?
Yeah, because people are trying to do everything they can to get away from spending time with the ones that they need to spend time with, trying to find value, trying to matter, trying to be somebody in other ways. And they do that oftentimes in the church house. Does it mean that church is wrong? Does it mean the food is wrong? No, we need some of these things, right, to survive and to thrive, and they grow us. But we can go to places to get some inappropriate things, to try to find our sense of self, you know, to try to get value, right? And we can get so much value by challenging ourselves in our own relationships, right, and by connecting in with our partner. But that might be a little harder to do than to go, you know, to the next, I don't know, you know, church meeting and connect with so-and-so, and y'all can kind of give each other like, girl, yes, hallelujah, thank you, won't he do it, and get your motivation. That's a little easier to do than to sit with my man and get some feedback, right? So that's real talk.
Yeah, and then also too, I mean, even your phone, you could develop an addiction to your phone.
Definitely
if you waking up in the morning and the first thing that you do is not greet your partner, not say good morning, not give them a kiss, not even say a prayer, not even say thank you, not even get up and greet your children. The first thing you do is roll over and reach for your phone. You might want to think about the fact that you may be addicted to this whole social media thing. And if you can't manage that, I would definitely encourage you to get some help around that, because
Okay.
again, it's something that needs to be looked
Now,
at.
how many people gonna tell the truth and say, yeah, that's me? I'm gonna say it's me. I know it's me. I be up on this joint like, and I look around. We look around all the time and be like, dang, oh wow, yeah. People all the time. I have to say that's me. It's a big part of our business. It's a big part of how I meet new people and connect with new people. And
I
I've
mean, it's
gotten
a
a
good
lot
thing.
of beautiful things with social media. But in all things, we have to have balance, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sabotage your relationship with addictions, and when we are addicted and we will not give up something, we will not replace the thing that we are finding so much attachment to, and figure out how to push that thing out of the picture, then we know, oh man, I got a problem. And when your partner is telling you, gosh, you work all the time, that's an addiction, right? Workaholic. You working all the time, but somehow we feel justified in that. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I'm working to bring in money because I gotta, be out here and pay these bills. No, but you know what? It doesn't matter if you don't have anybody to bring it home to. And many of us do not get that lesson until we're way later on in life. And we say, dang, like, I don't really know my son all like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really spend time with my daughter the way I wanted to. I never really got to know my husband or my wife in the way that I really wanted to. And so we have to just, first of all, let me just say this. Well, not first of all, second, third, and fourth of all, we just have to acknowledge where we're vulnerable. This is not about blaming, like, that's not me. That's not me. I know that in certain ways I may have a tendency, and working, my mother is a workaholic. My father is a worker. I know that's one of my vulnerabilities.
Oh, absolutely.
You know that, right? Yeah. Ayize had to pull, like, hold up, get up off that computer, come upstairs, cut it. So I know that about myself. Yeah, I know that, right? And that I get a lot of value from some of that stuff. And I've got to be aware, you cannot change anything you will not acknowledge. So if you stay trying to talk about, nuh-uh, just because I have a drink every night, it's just 1.5 drinks to 2 or 3 drinks, they mess with the numbers a little bit, right? If we can't acknowledge it, then we'll never be able to change it. But I just say, you know what? Just tell the truth. Own your shiznit. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. And Nick, let me go ahead and just do the high five. She said, that's me. So I know my stuff, right? And so when that happens, and we're able to just be real about it, then our partner can actually help us in that, right? But if we don't want help, then we won't even call it out. We'll just keep trying to dip and dodge, and we cannot do that, y'all. We got to be real about where we struggle and where we find ourselves kind of going to places to get things that we really shouldn't be getting, because addictions will mess you up. But the faster you acknowledge it, the quicker you'll be able to do something about it and continue to hold yourself accountable as you're honest about where you really are.
Yeah, and don't just be honest with yourself, be honest with your partner too. If you're struggling with something, whether it be this whole food piece, the phone piece, the sex piece, the porn piece, the work piece, whatever it is, you can't walk this journey by yourself, in the sense that you need some support, you need some accountability. People can hold your hand and walk with you through the process. So make sure you got a partner who's going to ride or die with you and be there with you and hold your hand as you travel along this path.
This is a good one right here. Read this. Shonda, I see your question. I'm gonna read that while I do this next one, and we're gonna respond to that. That's pretty good. So look, yes, we gotta learn how to call ourselves out, Anika. That's right. So here's the thing, and that's the thing. We want to call ourselves out, but I don't want nobody else. We don't want nobody else to call us out. You know what I mean? So when they bring it, we're like, wait a minute, you don't need to say all of that. I already know I'm working on it, right? And so that's true. We have to be willing to call ourselves out and be open and receptive when our partner reflects some things to us that we do not want to see. So here's the third one. Number 3. Here's how you sabotage a relationship, and you may not realize it. You are fake. Well.
You fake?
You fake. Y'all like, what? What's up with that one? You fake. You perpetrating. So what do we mean by that? Okay, you're not authentic. You don't say how you really feel. You don't tell your partner what's really going on. Your girlfriends know more about your true feelings than your partner knows. You're not willing, and you're not able. I won't say able because everybody's able, but you're not willing to really take a risk and be honest. So there are thoughts and feelings you have about certain issues that they have no clue about. Maybe you all have had some conversation. You all have skirted around the edges of it. Really put it out there. You might feel a little more comfortable talking to your friend. You might feel more comfortable journal. Maybe you told your mother, your girlfriend, and maybe you shouldn't be telling them all of that. But whatever the issue is, you're not being really real. How is it that somebody's supposed to know how to show up for you and do differently if you don't tell the whole truth? Right? And yes, Janine, you just put it out there, my sister. You said, because I want to avoid an argument. My goodness, that's the truth. We want to avoid arguments. We don't want the friction. But guess what? What's that Chinese? I always do this. I always get messed up with
you're gonna try to bring
the Chinese symbol, y'all. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. What's the Chinese symbol? It's
crisis, boo. All right.
Okay, explain it.
Yeah, so,
I don't remember, but I know it's good.
So reportedly, because I've actually heard something contrary to this. But the Chinese symbol for crisis is made up of two characters. One character represents danger, and then the other character represents opportunity.
Yeah, say it again. Say the whole thing. One more time.
You're gonna have me do your quote for you.
Yeah, do the quote one more time. One more again, because some people want to write this down.
Yeah, so the Chinese symbol for crisis is made up of two characters. One character it means danger, and then the other character means opportunity.
Okay. So if we know that from crisis and chaos, right, there is always going to be some danger, but there's always going to be opportunity at the same time, then you've got to be able to really see the big picture and maintain perspective in the middle of conflict, in the middle of beef, and say, you know what, I don't really want to go here because I'm going to say, oh, yes, Ramel, mask off. Take the mask off. I'm going to say something that's going to make her see me differently. She's not going to really understand, who is this? Where is this coming from? She's going to think I'm judging her. He's not going to really, know if he can trust me, whatever, right? Because I'm telling him something that I've had in my spirit ever since we got married, and I never said nothing, right? Like it's deep stuff like that. But there's opportunity. You can't get to that opportunity if you're not willing to be real and you're not willing to be authentic. I cannot tell you how many people who have sat before us, and as we talk about the issues and we talk about what they need to move through, the partner who is kind of clueless, they get so mad. They get so upset because they say, I didn't know. And one person says, well, you should have known. And we already done told plenty of y'all before who follow us, they ain't no mind readers in relationships. Ain't nobody's supposed to know nothing. You have to express what it is you need. So when you don't take the risk to be real, and many of us do this on a regular basis. We fake representatives in our marriage. Don't nobody even know your real self. Don't know your real feelings, where you really at. When you don't do that, you got a fake marriage. You got a fake connection in some level, because you're not fully bringing yourself to the relationship, and you are potentially sabotaging your relationship, because that's a huge fracture when somebody realizes, oh my, like you hadn't even been real with me. You hadn't even told me how you feel. You didn't even give me the opportunity to step different. You didn't even give me the opportunity to wrestle with what you had to tell me. You understand? So we have to be willing to be authentic.
We have to be willing to be authentic.
And that thing is hard. I ain't gonna say it's easy.
So that's what I want to speak to.
It's hard. I know you're gonna speak to it.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna always make room for what's hard. I'm just saying, I'll be like, we need to do it. He'll be like, and I just want to say.
You're gonna make room for what's hard.
That, oh Lord.
I mean, I'm just saying.
So he always want to, make room for, but it's going to be difficult and you can push through.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's important for us to lift up that. I think that it's important for us to lift up that, it's extremely difficult to reconcile what's expected of you and who you are expected to be up against the ugliness of the reality of what you see when you look in the mirror. And so,
deep. I don't even understand what you said, but that was deep.
I mean, essentially what I'm saying is that, a lot of people are living a life based off of what they think other people, think that they should be. But the reality is that they have this internal thing going on within them. And the expectation is that they shed that. But the reality is that when they look at themselves in the mirror, what they see is something they're not satisfied with. They're not happy with themselves. And so how do you reconcile the two? The fact that you're not happy with who you currently are, but yet you're living a life to appease and please everybody else. So you're trying to, again, live a life where you're balancing both demands, to be you, not liking you, but also living like somebody else wants you to live. And so it's hard, y'all. And so really, I just want to lift up the fact that it's difficult to live and dwell in that space. But the reality is, my wife just mentioned, to be in the most pure, the most true, the most authentic relationship, you got to shed that stuff and really step into a space of transparency and vulnerability and encounter and confront the real you so that you can offer that to your spouse.
Yes. Let me just say this real quick. This is kind of like, I don't know, this ain't off topic, but I remember back when my husband and I were dating. And so when we were dating, I mean, for anybody who knows a little bit about our story, you know, I was doing my thing a little bit. A little bit. Was you doing your thing? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. So look, I always do that, right? I'm challenging my husband because look, first of all, was you doing your thing?
I did a little something.
Okay, well, I see he tell the truth, right? We said be authentic. He always struggled at that part. I know you want to put all kind of qualifiers out here, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Anyway, I'll tell my story because he's working on telling his story. Pray for him. Pray for him. So anyway, look, y'all. So look. So I was, I was doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. What does that mean? It means that, I was cheating. Right. We are high school sweethearts, went away to college, all this kind of stuff. And so, eventually I realized, like, wait a minute. I'm tired of like doing this, kind of like I say he's the one. I know that there's something. Thank you. Y'all giving me energy because y'all know I may not look like this is hard, but I'm being vulnerable. This is how my vulnerability look. Okay. So thank y'all for that. Giving me all of that love right there. So anyway, my point is this. There came a point where I said, I want to be different. I want to do something. I don't want to keep kind of finding myself in a cycle here, and I don't want to like be cheating on this man who I really love and he loves me and I know that he is the one for me. Right. And so I was struggling with like, why is it that I keep kind of having somebody, you got your boo, your socks on the phone. If you ain't available, I got somebody else I can holler at, I can go and out on a date with this one. And I always had a little somebody. And so
and that finally caused major problems.
Of course it did.
Major problems.
Major. We might have to do that next one. We had to do a whole situation on that, so we can just tell you our story. You gonna be ready to tell the story, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help you God. Anyway, so my point is, y'all, I'm taking forever to get to the point. We got to a place where we got really real with each other. We put all our stuff out on the table. I told him every single thing about myself. I told him every person I had dealt with. I told him the situations and what had gone down. Like he told me his stuff. I got mad as hell. You understand? I got mad. I got mad because like, what? Oh, really? You was with her? What? What? I seen her and you mean to tell me she was in my face? You mean to tell me y'all was doing what? You know who I'm talking about. I'm just going to keep on going. So anyway, the point is that at that point, I wonder what he's thinking because he ain't saying nothing, is he? I'm keeping it real, Marnell. I don't know what's going on in your mind. But anyway.
I'm just enjoying my drink and enjoying what you're saying. Okay. And just we can keep it moving to the next.
I want you to drop some knowledge. But anyway, the point is that nobody could get to take anything away from us. The reason we're so rock solid right now is nobody can tell him anything. You understand? Nobody can tell him anything about anything I did, anything that I had going on, right? Nobody can tell him anything about the inner me. I gave him all of that. Yeah. You understand? Mm-hmm. He gave me all of that. Mm-hmm. Nobody can tell us anything. No. Okay? And so that requires a certain level of vulnerability, and obviously it requires a certain level of courage. Yeah. Only when you are willing to do that. When we did that, there was almost a little bit of a rocky, it was a rocky space and some distance that happened between us during that time. But because we were willing to risk the distance, we were willing to risk the fracture and see if we could then grow from that. Mm-hmm. Only because of that, I know we have the kind of relationship that we have today. Mm-hmm. But you got to be willing to risk it. You got to be willing to risk all of the funkiness that's going to come out of your honesty. What's up, Vanetta, in the house? I see you, sister. So, all right. So I just wanted to give that little example. Yeah. All right. You want to say something else? No, number 3. Okay, number 3. Here it is.
Number 4.
We're number 4. Okay. Well, I ain't crossed one out. But anyway, number 4. Okay, here we are. Woo! You don't create a safe space for your partner to speak openly and just be. Okay? You don't. What's Sham talking about? Hold on. No dry snitching on yourself. It's called the past because you moved past it. Sham. So look, here it is. You don't create space. So many of us, we just talked about not being authentic, right? Yeah. And people struggle with that thing. People don't want to really put it out there and say, what they're really feeling. And oftentimes what we always say to people is like, look, you're responsible for yourself. You are not responsible for your partner's reaction. You're not responsible for their feelings. Oh, but I might hurt them and they've been there for me and that's going to make them upset. All of that may be the case.
And a lot of brothers that we work with say this stuff.
They do.
They do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they speak about that.
But they're not responsible. Mm-hmm. You're not responsible. You're responsible for showing up authentically, right? Yeah. But guess what? Guess what? So many of us, while you are, yes, responsible, we're all responsible for our own feelings and being authentic. So many of us create such stank ass places for our partners. They want to be able to kind of share a little bit. You just got funkiness. You are more committed to your agenda.
Yeah.
You are more committed to
I don't
being
want to talk
right,
to you.
right, than to being in relationship. So you don't create an atmosphere. I know that I create an atmosphere for my husband to communicate because I know that I can be, my energy can be
Intense.
intense. Okay, my energy can be intense, and so I know that, and so
And
I
I'll
know.
check that joint every single time. Like, I mean,
No, you don't.
no, 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 I do. I do.
No, you don't.
When I notice it, I'll ask you, is everything okay? I'll lift it up and I'll bring it to the forefront because
Yes.
if I'm trying to express my thoughts and stuff, I mean, I think that it's only appropriate that you give me the space and you honor the fact you create that safe space to allow me or enable me to express my thoughts and my feelings.
But just as you acknowledged not that long ago, and he did acknowledge this not that long ago, he wasn't even aware of a space that he was in. You do that when you're aware. But there are times when my husband is not even aware that I'm aware that what he's trying to share, what he wants to share, it's really hard. Or that, he's telling me something, and for real, I be having like 3, 4, 5 responses in my head, like, well, what you could do is, and I don't understand how that makes sense because last week you said, right, but that's all in my head. I keep it on the inside because that's not creating an atmosphere where he feels safe and where he feels like he can share with me. How is this man going to talk to me and tell me where he is, right? He may be, because oftentimes I'm in a different place on certain issues than he is, right? He is advanced in certain ways where I am still quite immature and I'm wet behind the ears, okay? And it's the same for me. There are certain areas where I am evolving and I'm moving and he's still a little bit back, right? Yeah. And so we can take that as couples and we can judge each other on that, or we can understand that we got to make room for the other person. And we got to create an atmosphere where the other person can just talk about the frustration. They can talk about the fear. And we don't say, well, that's good, but you just got to put your mind to it and do it. You might think that, you're trying to give support, but that often feels like judgment, right? And so we got to be able to make space and understand that we are uniquely having our own individual paths that we are moving down as we collectively come together. And when you allow your partner to just be, then you are doing the divine thing and allowing the relationship to lift both of you up. But you've got to be able to fall back and know what that looks like. So when you do not allow your partner to be, that means they can make a statement without you having to correct it. That means that they can express their feelings and you understand that feelings are neither right or wrong. That they can have the feelings they have, and even if it hurts your feelings, because I've gotten my feelings hurt because I'm sensitive. That's his right to his feelings. And I'm not going to say anything back about it. I'm just going to allow him to have the feelings that I actually create more of a connection and I do not sabotage my relationship because I want my man to always feel like he can talk to me.
Yeah, one thing that we've noticed in terms of counseling couples is that women oftentimes have difficulty embracing, understanding, and really appreciating the ambiguity that their spouse may speak.
The ambiguity.
And I lift this up because we've even encountered this in our relationship. I may be using analogies and speaking.
Oh, let me speak on that.
Oh, let me finish saying what I'm saying.
Oh, Lord. Do it right now.
So
you get irritated with me.
So I really want to elevate this point because now, of course, the important thing is that you understand, right? But the reality is that there's a possibility that you may not understand what it is that he's saying. But I think that it's also important that you allow room for him to speak and to express his thoughts and feelings. And because you don't understand, and you're going to have an issue with this right here, it does not necessarily mean that the problem rests with him. The problem could rest with you and your ability to get where he's at, to get where he's coming from, to understand the language that he's speaking, to embrace the ambiguity, to really go into that space and understand the way he communicates, right? No, I'm serious. And so you may want to ask 1,001 questions to get additional clarity, but he may only be able to give you but so much.
Hallelujah.
He may only be able to give you but so much. And so again, the reality is that, when it comes to you communicating with your man, again, he's going to give you what he gives you, but will you allow room for him to just drop that, to deposit that, and then you take the time, you do the intentional work to ponder on what he's giving you versus you trying to break down, dissect, and process everything in that moment and try to get the clarity in that moment. Some things he might just drop, and it's going to be incumbent upon you to take it back and meditate and digest what he said versus trying to process it and get it right there in that moment. And so I don't think that
Yeah,
A
they
lot of
feel you.
people
They
have
say you are
patience.
absolutely right.
Have patience with that process.
And that's true because I know as women, oftentimes we want clarity, and I'm like, be precise and be clear. So what does that exactly mean? So are you saying then on such and such a time that I do some of that sometimes,
And that
and I
John is
know
irritating as irritating as fuck.
Woo!
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So I mean, I'm sorry. Express yourself. Um. So that's true. I mean, what he's saying is true. Okay. But I will also say that sometimes, it can be a little difficult because I'll just give you guys an example because maybe you can. Like sometimes my husband and I are talking and we're talking about something very concrete, like, what are we going to do about this issue? I don't understand where you're coming from. I feel like you weren't really, being supportive of blah, 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 whatever. I don't know what it is. I can't even think of nothing. And my husband will drop it. He'll drop it like this. You say you want us to just take it and just sit with it. He'll be sitting back like this too, and he'll be like,
"Here come the comedy."
No, this is what you do. This is what you do.
Here come the joke, y'all. I'm just saying, get ready.
I want you to tell me this is not what you do.
I'm just gonna get my glass.
Ayize, this is what he says. So I'm giving very concrete stuff. So at like 5 o'clock, we got to pick up the kids, and then I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to negotiate this thing because you seem like you had an attitude the other day when I asked you to do blah blah blah, right? And he's like this. Well,
do I be rubbing my beard? Bro?
Oh yeah. So a bluebird.
You try.
A bluebird. Let me finish. A bluebird sits on a branch, and when the bluebird sits on the branch, sometimes it flies over the East Coast, but other times the West Coast is where the sun sets. And if you don't understand the sunset, then sometimes you just have to forget the bluebird and get a dog.
Is that how it sounds, bro?
And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about?
Is that how it sounds, bro?
Yes. I'm for real. I be like this, y'all, trying to practice all my skills, right? I'm like this.
That's how it sounds.
Oh, okay. And I be looking over like, what the? I don't understand.
But that's your deficit.
So some of that, no, but sometimes I do, right? Sometimes my husband will make, we need to move on because we got to move on to number 5. But sometimes, y'all, look, he'll make room for me. And I'll be like, look, boo, can we not do any analogies right now? Can you just answer the question? Don't I do that?
Yeah, you do.
I'm like, can we not do any, can we do no proverbs or no quotes? Can you just tell me what you, and he'd be like, well, first, the dog sits on the left side. Right. No, but I ain't playing. I'm not playing. This brother, that's what attracted me to him. He's deep. Sometimes he's too deep for his own damn good. My God. Okay, so here's number 5, y'all. Here's number 5. But we got, I saw y'all say yes. We have to really kind of accept what our men are saying and not try to dissect it to death. That was the overall points, right? Okay, so here is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You overvalue certainty and you refuse to embrace change. This is not one that many people will admit to willingly. I'm going to repeat it again for those of you who are taking notes. You overvalue certainty and you refuse to embrace change. Most of you will not say that you refuse to embrace change. Most of us know intellectually in our minds, like, yeah, there's nothing out here but change. Things are always changing. The sun rises and the sun sets, and one thing is happening today and another thing is happening tomorrow. Right? And so we kind of know that. But there are those of us who get very, and again, I just had to come from this place of like, no judgment, y'all, no judgment, right? There are those of us that change creates quite a bit of internal confusion and turmoil for us. And so we struggle with that so much that when our partner is trying to take us down a new road or they're trying to do something different, they might be trying to do a different thing with the budget. They might be trying to do something different in terms of maybe your faith life or your spiritual life. Like, let's try this new way. Or maybe they're trying to do something and get a little more outside the box in the bedroom, okay? Right? And do something different like we talked about last week. They might be doing all kind of stuff, but you say like, oh, okay, but you ain't making no effort to embrace the change. You're not getting down with them in terms of understanding where they're coming from. You are so stuck on things being a certain way. You don't want to do anything different with the kids because this is the way your mama did it and your grandmother did it and your grandma's mama, right? And so because of that, you are sabotaging your relationship. Where there is no new life, where there are no new ideas, where there is nothing new and innovative happening, then you cannot expect for there to be excitement. You can't expect for there to be joy. You can't expect for there to be creativity. And you stifle that when you say like, because why we gotta change? Why we gotta do something different? That's boring as hell, number one, right? You gotta switch it up. We don't want to find all of our excitement out in the world and in our careers and with our friends, but we can't get no excitement and no innovation and no creativity in our own household. And when we try to bring it, we get shut down. And maybe you don't verbally shut me down, but you don't really join me. You don't show that you are really with me. And so I just need you to understand that you are sabotaging your relationship when you refuse to embrace change, when you refuse to get with a new idea and you think that your way is the only way. And even if you don't say it, I got to say this again, just because you don't say it doesn't mean you're with it. You can talk a good talk and pretend, but a lot of y'all be faking. Y'all be faking. Oh, that's good. And you ain't with your partner. You ain't with them. You're not feeling it. Right. And so because of that, right, you are sabotaging your relationship. So I just want you to know that that's important. You cannot overvalue certainty. Many of us do. I know my husband has a hard time when there's change happening. I know that I'm a little more flexible with change. Is that not true? Tell the truth. Tell the truth, shame the devil. I just said a second ago, it's no judgment.
I'm a Pisces.
What that mean?
I'm like water. I flow. So
you flow, but when it comes to certain kinds of changes, boo, when it comes to change in general, I'm excited by change, and you are a little bit like, what we doing, right? Okay, so if we know that about ourselves, because again, that goes back to the other point: be real and be authentic. Then we can challenge ourselves lovingly, right? And we know where we can push each other gently to move to the next level. All right, so that was number whatever. We got two more to go. All right.
That makes it number 5.
That makes it number 5. Yeah. Oh, thank you for that, math. So we got 2 more to go. I just want to let you guys know again, go to rocksolidrelationships.com if you have not already in past times to go ahead and connect with us, because we want to stay connected with you and we want you all to stay connected with all that we're doing. All right, here is number 6. It's on you, my brother.
Number 6, needing to control. You need to run the show.
I run this.
Yeah. You know, I've actually struggled with this one right here. You know, and I've struggled with this one in the sense that, you know, when it comes to not even necessarily my relationship with my wife, more so in my relationship with my children. You know, I think that it's important.
That's not just the kids.
How I be trying to control you?
You're trying to control situations. Sometimes you do it in like you're being caring and you're like trying to like, you're good. No, don't do that because you're trying to take care of me and it feels stifling. I told him that. You like stifling me, dude. Like back up.
Let me give y'all the perfect
back up off me, like
example. Let me give y'all the perfect example.
We walking down the street.
Yes. So we take neighborhood walks, y'all. We take walks through the neighborhood and you know, it's my responsibility. Now, ladies, let me know if y'all can't get with this, and fellas, let me know if you feel me on this one. But we take walks through the neighborhood. And so it's my duty, my responsibility as the husband, as the protector, as you know, somebody who is on his post, on his dean, to make sure that my wife is safe. We got 5 children, y'all. For those of you who this is your first time knowing us, we got 5 children, been married for 15 years, together for 22. But so it's my responsibility to make sure my queen is protected.
You do a good job.
But this woman right here, this beautiful Black queen right here,
about to say?
She got issues when I try to tell her to, you know, why don't you walk on the inside, baby? Let me walk over here on the street.
I'm fine with that.
When I try to move her over and, you know, move her body and gently nudge her and, you know, make sure she feels safe and protected, she want to bark at me and come at me in such a way like she want to be on the outside and put me on the inside. I'm like, what's going on? And she wants to prove a point. Like, I've been walking in the street for all these years. I've been living on my own. I've been, you know, I went to college on my own. I was in high school and blah, blah, blah. And I know how to walk in the street by myself. I know how to take care of myself. I know how to make sure I don't get hit by no car. I don't need you to do this for me. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, really?
No. So you're exaggerating. So how Mel gonna say that's that Leo?
Yeah, no. That Leo need to pipe down right there. So all I'm trying to do is protect.
Yeah, but
that's all I'm trying to do.
And that's just one little. You try to use an example where people are gonna be feeling you. He's gonna try it. But look, there you go.
Oh my God!
All right, Tamara. Thank you, Tamara. Said he act like I can't cross the street on my own. Okay, and I
submit. Yes. Kelly said submit. Just submit. Just get on the inside.
I do. I have it. I was a little interesting early on, but I walk on the inside and I do it out of habit now. Like if I'm with him, I know my position. Go to the inside. Isn't that right? I do. But here's the thing.
You do that, John, rolling your eyes.
No, because sometimes I just think like, even when I'm on the inside, y'all, hold up now. When I'm on the inside, This man was like, it'd be like a little piece, you know what a curb is? He want me to walk on the little line. Like I gotta stay right here. I'm like, dude, you traumatized in the street when you was little? Did a car like run you over and you ain't tell me? Because if he hear a car, he like, move over to the left. I'm like,
and you're gonna be 2 blocks away.
I know. He's like, it's a car coming. I'm like, calm down. It's just a car. It's okay. So anyway, I actually love it. I like to be taken care of that way.
Oh, you do?
I do. I like it. I like the way that you kind of take control in that way. But sometimes I'm like, dude, can you like stop? I'm like, we're walking and your shoulders hitting my shoulders. It's just so close. Like, I'm like, back up off me. Like, if I'm by myself, I walk in the street on my own. So yeah. So that's a good example.
Yeah.
Okay. Where we at? What's the next one?
We on number 7, I think.
No, we don't know what number we on, y'all. But
we on number 7.
We on number 7. All right. Okay. So this one, I think, I'm just going to couple these two together. Okay, and so this one right here, we protect ourselves. So, for example, once you are in a relationship, you may be dating someone, or you may have found yourself with someone, and you find yourself kind of falling into habits where you feel insecure a lot, where you may be jealous, where you may feel tied down or stretched, and you feel pulled on. Right? You love the person, y'all feel each other, what have you. But at the end of the day, you start to struggle with some of this stuff that is attached to being in a relationship, and so that's called protecting yourself. Once we have the person, now we've got to learn how to be with the person. And oftentimes we have had experiences in our life prior to the relationship that have really made us vulnerable to certain things. So if we're not so sure about ourselves and we don't feel confident about ourselves, that may look like jealousy. Right? That may look like I'm not, I'm where you going, what you doing, but it's really because you feeling some type of way about yourself. Right? And I'm not talking about, straight up legitimate things where we need to say like, where are you going? God dang it. Right? I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the ways in which we protect ourselves, and we do not let our partner be all that they can be, because we are really not committed to the relationship. We're committed to making sure that our own hearts are okay. Okay, so we got to pay attention to that. And then this is the one. You focus on what's wrong more than you focus on what's right. Look, let me tell you something. One of the biggest strategies that we tell the couples that we counsel and that we talk to all the time is that you got to learn how to visit places of conflict. Yeah. Visit, V-I-S-I-T. Visit them. Oh, we're going to talk about this on Wednesday, and then we're going to step back out of that. Visit it. Do not dwell there, because we dwell in places of conflict. We dwell in places of beef. And so if we focus on all the stuff that's not going well, what you think is going to grow? The stuff that ain't going well. If you focus on the things that are going right and all the things that your partner does well and what you all have going for you, right? Hold up. Guess what? It starts to look like these things are growing. You start to appreciate these things more, and you see these things more. It's all about perspective. Yeah. I talk about this all the time. Wherever you go, there you are. So there's nothing that's really real in the world. We're all taking our filters around, and we're looking through our filters. How about you just tip your filter and lean it to the positive side? It may sound like real woo-woo, but I'm telling you, as a sister who has been in a relationship that has challenged me beyond, and has rewarded me beyond, I'm telling you that I focus on what's going well. And anytime I'm starting to be real irritated with my husband, and I'm like, good grief, like this is just ridiculous, and I'm just all up in my stuff. You know what I do? I write a gratitude list strictly for my marriage. This is what I'm grateful for about my husband. This is what I'm grateful for about my marriage. I'm grateful for the stuff that's good, and I'm grateful for the stuff that challenges me and that frustrates me and irritates me. I'm grateful for it all.
You're grateful for it all.
I fake it till I make it, because I know that these things are what's going to grow my relationship. So I saw you do a little chuckle. You want to shout somebody out before we end this evening? How y'all feeling? Was this helpful for you?
I was just looking at the comment right there. Something that you lifted up to me a number of times before. And so it was kind of funny to see somebody else.
Oh, Darlene, you are my sister. Darlene Russell, I am shouting you out right now. Look, let me tell y'all what she said real quick before we go this evening. She said, I want to be dropped off at the front door while he parks at the store. Girl, we got to get together. Girl, I want to be dropped off at the front door while he parks at the store. I want my door open. I want to walk on the inside. I want my man to walk beside me, not in front of me. But hold up, that first part,
so I do
dropped off at the front door. This man right here, I be coming out the grocery store. I don't know where he is. I be so irritated. This man is riding around in the parking lot on like little sightseeing trips in the parking lot. I'm like, where is he at? And I done told him 1,000 times, can you please be out front? Yeah, I can't sit out front because the shoppers food warehouse police might come and tell me to move. Really? All right, we getting real silly right now. So look, y'all. We hope that this has been of help to you. I'm glad, Marnell, you're gonna watch it again with hubby. I want you to recognize the places. You may not sit in any of these places fully. Most of us, do not sit in any of these places fully. Some of us do. But you can see where you have done some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that the more you're willing and the more you are able to acknowledge the places where you need to grow, the better your relationship will be. Okay, so that sounds like, oh, yeah, we know that. But I'm just asking you, when's the last time you've acknowledged something that you need to do differently? I'm challenging everybody tonight that today is Thursday. Within the next 24 hours, no, let's just say by the end of the weekend, because we got the weekend coming up. Within the weekend, I want y'all to come on my page, come on my husband's page, or come on blackloveandmarriage.com's page. I want you to tell us how you told your partner where you need to grow, where you need to do something different, right? How you are going to not undermine the relationship. You know what I realized? I've been kind of doing this thing and it don't really help us.
They're not going to do it.
Because y'all know it. You know what I'm saying? You know what you know. And some of y'all don't know. Yeah. And now you know. So what you gonna do with it? Why you saying that y'all ain't gonna do it?
I mean, because the reality is that, a lot of people like to get on these Facebook lives and watch the videos. And we got over, 800 advice videos on YouTube now.
Oh, no.
So you'll watch the advice videos, but when it comes to actually doing the work, you won't do it. And so again, what my wife just gave,
called y'all out.
What she just gave is, something that she's asking and challenging you to do over the course of the next 3-4 days. And will you do it? What I'm saying is that it's going to take a courageous person to come outside of their comfort zone and actually put into practice what we're speaking about. Share with your partner the way in which you've come up short. I think that if you own your own stuff and you be accountable for where you've come up short in the process of elevating and edifying your relationship, then all that does is inspire your partner to do the same thing. And so again, if y'all want to build, why don't you take the lead and let your partner know what you can do better versus always looking to them to take the lead and do better first.
Yeah. So look, I love it. Ramel says he had to apologize 2 days ago and tell her that he needed to be more empathetic because he was being an ass wipe. Really? He was being an ass wipe? Okay, Ramel, that's an interesting word. And then I have Wanda. Wanda says she just got married. The steps are very helpful. Wanda, I'm glad, sister. You about your business because you ain't wait till year 20 or year 10 when you struggling to get on these things. That's right. That's how you got to do it. And Lyndon said, especially the part about, this is very helpful, especially the part about creating an environment so my husband can talk to me. Okay. I'm going to try to listen more and stop trying to fix everything. Yeah. That's what we got to do. We got to do. Yeah. And yeah, love it, Erica. She said, I'm an analyst. Yeah. I'm always computing in my mind too, honey. I understand. I'm with you on that, but we just have to learn how to decide so that we can show up and give all that we need to our relationship. Again, I just want to say this to you. Make sure that you are intentional in your relationship. Make sure that you are always working on something. If somebody was to hit you up and say, what you working on this week? What you been working on this month? You need to have an answer. You need to have an answer. And so if you don't have an answer, get one tonight, because that's how you create more of what you want. Yeah. You create more of what you want by being intentional in your relationship. So again, for those who are just now new to us and following us, we want you to go ahead and connect with us so that we can connect and stay connected with you all by going to rocksolidrelationships.com.
Yeah, you get our seven-part free video series.
Yes. And I also want y'all to do this. We always go back and look at all of the comments, right? And we respond and we really pay attention because it's really helpful to us. We want to create a Facebook group. So I just want to put that out there. I should have said it earlier, but we want to create a Facebook group. And there's so many different focuses. That's not a real word. I don't know if that's a word, but there's so many focuses for relationships. I want to hear from you all in terms of what you think would be very helpful to focus on, or what kind of group. Some people say, just make it a general relationship group. The reason we want to do that is because groups allow you to connect in more intimately, and we can really connect in with everybody. So I want to hear from you guys and let us know what y'all think that should be. Okay, so as
Yeah,
we
let us know. Did y'all
continue.
get some good feed? Did y'all get some good advice, some good stuff? You looking at me like you giving me the same
No,
face.
I'm sorry, because you doing what I be doing. Now I know
Right.
how you all yelling. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
How was this for y'all?
Hmm.
Let us know whether or not y'all got some good stuff this
Okay, they
evening.
giving the likes.
Okay.
Good,
I like that. I like that. We
good.
really appreciate that. I mean, just in hearing what you all are saying, giving the feedback, giving the comments, sharing your stuff, your stories. It definitely helps us in terms of the work that we do, and we definitely appreciate it. So please continue to support. Please continue to show the love, and we'll keep on giving y'all the information that we got.
And Tracy Crockett, I just want to say to you, sis, you said I'm at a place where I'm ready to let go. I just want to say to you, look, sometimes we be in that place and sometimes we need to be. I don't know where you are, but I just want to give you some good energy right now and let you know that guess what? Everything that you want, everything that you need is just on the other side of your perception. So just make sure that you are fully showing up for yourself so that you can fully show up for your relationship. This is it. This is all. We're done. This has been awesome. All right, y'all. You know what it is. Stop playing
And
and
start
start
pushing.
pushing.
Peace, y'all.
Put that down on enjoy.